Hey, what's up, guys? This is Church of Caboose, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. If this title and the game footage sounds familiar to you, and you're thinking, but wait, the Proving Grounds Grandmaster was 2 weeks ago, you would be correct. On the week of March 13th, it's once again the Proving Grounds Grandmaster, but instead of giving you guys a full guide for every part, because I already did that and I'll put a card for it at the end, I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips and tricks that I've learned by doing this more, and mostly how to do the boss fight legit. There was a cheese for it, that's why I suggested using in the guide, and then like 8 hours later, Bungie fixed it, and we weren't allowed to use it, and so that video basically became hot garbage. And so this is going to be mostly about doing the boss fight legit. If you guys do enjoy the video, make sure you slap the like button, but most of all, subscribe to my channel, you sons of bitches. It's the right thing to do, and comment down below, let me know if this was helpful. As always, we're going to give a couple of just general pointers. Of course, 2 Furiosa Titans, can't go wrong. I have yet to see a team that's like, nah, I only want 1 Titan. Nah, but usually people want 2. And then their third character could be literally whatever. I would suggest an offensive super, but you know what? Do whatever it is that you guys want to do. Well, Chaos Reach, whatever. The key is really 2 Furiosa Titans. Sundering Glare is going to be useful, especially for the tank room. And then, of course, Anarchy, Skyburners, so that way you can shoot through all the Cabal shields and not have to go inside of the boss's like core shield thingy. It's just like the last time. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, watch my full guide that I did 2 weeks ago. I have a card for it at the end. And that's really going to be it for generic tips on this strike. Other than one last thing, make sure y'all all shoot at the same thing at the same time. Sometimes I run with LFG, and usually if it's a pain in the ass or it takes longer than it should, it's because you got people shooting in 2 different directions, and that's just not going to be efficient inside of Grandmasters. You want to all be shooting the same stuff. It could be tanks, it could be champions, whatever, and you also want to prioritize what is more likely to kill you. So for example, in the tank room, when you got the ads, the red bars, a couple of champions floating around in the back, and then the 2 tanks, what is most likely going to be killing you the fastest? Probably the tanks. So you should be working together to take the tanks out first. That's my opinion. As always with these guides, there's a million ways to finish these things done. This is just something that works well for me, and I think you guys would enjoy these strats as well. Alright, so the last thing I wanted to do is just give a quick little update thing with the tank room. Basically, as you're seeing on screen, just be kind of in that middle area when you drop down, chaining those banner shields. The last time I suggested either being on the left or the right behind those big banner shield thingies. Those still work. It just seems to be a lot better being in that middle where you kind of, we're seeing us in the gameplay cycling those shields. You seem to have more view of all the ads. It's a little bit easier to have a heads up with the war beasts that are coming, and you just take more damage, so you're more likely to get those supers going. I don't feel as trapped. Maybe it's just a me thing, but I sometimes felt kind of trapped being on those edges. In the middle, I'm like, yeah, I can go wherever I want except backwards, which is fine by me. Alright, so that's going to be kind of more or less the advice on the tank room. So now let's go ahead and just show you guys what the boss fight, at least in my opinion, looks like, and probably the easiest way of completing this thing. I know it seems super duper like impossible and not worth it, but you know what? If you want to get that shadow price, unfortunately this week you have to do the Grandmaster. I will put on my Twitter if I figure out whether this does not count for Grandmaster or not, but or for Conqueror. So let's go ahead and get on into the boss fight portion of this video. As you guys can see, we're in the back of the room by that red tunnel thing. That tunnel is going to end up being very useful for a couple of reasons. One, it lets you kind of cut the ads and the champions that are coming at you throughout the boss fight in half. So instead of having to be at the opening entrance of the room where everything's coming at you, you don't really have a lot of cover, you can kind of rotate back and forth while using this tunnel. The tunnel can also be used to destroy those little ball things. Like I know with Skyburners, because of its tracking and whatnot, it's not too hard to shoot those cores that the boss fight puts out, but it's just kind of really nice being back in this area. You can kind of see we've got more of these shield things. It's a little bit easier because you know right where the champions are coming from, so you kind of can take care of one and then the other without having them both like crashing on you at the same time. And then of course the tunnel will eventually kind of be like an oven, but it at least when I was recording this, it was not an instant kill. As long as you just kind of skate on through it, you'll probably be like, oh, ouch, ouch, that hurts a little bit. Get to the other side, not a big deal. You can also kind of use that edge of the tunnel a little bit when you know it's not on fire. If you just got some ads, you just kind of need to take a little bit of a breather. You can kind of see like right there, it's like, ooh, I'm kind of hurting a little bit. Want to take some cover, just kind of duck into there, get your health back, reload, whatever it is you got to do, and then pop your way back out. Now, there's going to be a couple of parts that are a little bit trickier. Mostly it's going to be the champions, and then when that big giant shield thing comes up. For champions, you want to kill them as fast as possible. Why? If you're slow, eventually you'll have 2 of those unstoppables coming at you and your team, and it's just going to be way more chaotic than you probably want it to be. So if you're having people running unstoppable, which you should be because they're unstoppable champions, you want to take them out as fast as you can. That's partially why you want Anarchy. Anarchy is really useful for a couple of things. If you're not familiar with the weapon, I know there's new light players and things of that nature. Anarchy does damage over time, and it's a heavy weapon, so it does like heavy weapon damage over time. So you can flip to other weapons like your snipers, whatever it is, while your Anarchy is doing damage and end up putting out way more damage than just using a heavy ammo or just using your sniper rifle. So Anarchy is really useful. Anarchy also lets you cut off lanes of approach by ads, or you can know where stuff's going to come in and anticipate by putting down some Anarchy, because it'll just kind of wait there for a good chunk of time before it goes away for our enemies to come through it. It'll activate. At the very least, it'll weaken things and make it a little bit easier for you and your team. So if you're able to stun a champion, just hit him with a couple of those Anarchy rounds, as well as then switch to your sniper rifle. For the boss, it's a lot easier to do the boss fight when you can do it fast. So if you can hit him with some Anarchy rounds, and then your other stuff, like, you'll probably get to those core phases rather quickly. And while the boss does shoot at you inside of that core, it's better to get to the boss fight faster. Less odds of messing up, less odds of needing to go past the time limit so you run out of revives. It's just overall a much, much better situation. And the Sky Burners, as you can see on screen, is really, really useful, because then you do not have to go inside of that core. You just get to an angle, take your time, shoot the thing down. And here's some kind of last bits, I guess, with this Grandmaster in general. When I do this, especially more often with LFG folks, this seems to be an issue. Folks get really, really focused on the time. Like, annoyingly focused. Like, the whole time, like, oh, we got 10 minutes left, and you just kind of want to be like, oh man, just chill, you know? Like, if we get there, we get there. Worst case scenario, wipe happens, try again, or just find a different team if you're frustrated with your teammates. Like, it's not the end of the world. I think it's a lot less stressful for people if you're just trying to play. I know for myself, I tend to die more often when I feel like I have to stay alive. And if I'm just really lasering in to that like whole timer and how many revives are left, I for some reason seem to die more often. I don't know, maybe I jinx myself, no clue why. But like, for example, like I did a Master Presage before, didn't mean to do it without dying. It just kind of happened. It's because I was just so like not worried about it. And so that's kind of what I mean. So if you just try to be relaxed, just have some fun. This is a fun Grandmaster. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard. This is why I like Grandmasters these days. There's not a whole lot in Destiny that I think for at least a good chunk of people, not maybe the majority, but for at least a decent number of people, Grandmasters are kind of the only thing besides Trials that feels tough. And Trials is just like beat yourself in the head with a frying pan level tough. Like, unless you're like that upper echelon, or you got friends that really can hook you up, or if you've got money because you choose to use it that way, like, it's not a great experience. Whereas Grandmaster, I'm like, yeah, I got a shot at this thing. It's a good challenge. I don't even care if I like only complete it like a third of the time. Like, I don't care. And I really hope you guys take that attitude into this Grandmaster. This is a really, really tough one. It's not like a super easy one, so when you got folks who are like, it's the easiest thing of all time, like, don't get discouraged. They might just be asshats. Like, you never know. So just enjoy it. Hopefully these tips helped you guys out. Let me know down below if they did. Subscribe, especially if my tips helped you out and you're like, man, I had to watch this guy's guide and that's when I finally beat the Grandmaster. Do me a favor and subscribe back. Help me out, you, just like I helped you out. That'd be fan-freaking-tastic. All right, guys, I really appreciate your viewership. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know down below what you guys thought, and have a great week. enjoy this Grandmaster, have some fun. We got Iron Banner, all kinds of stuff. There's some cool ornaments and Eververse for Bright Dust if you're waiting for like the Divinity one, for example, or like the classes helmets. Those are for Bright Dust, things like that. It's a fun week, I think. This time in Destiny, and the seasonal challenges aren't Gambit. They're not Gambit, woohoo! Which I really, really enjoy. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'm Church of Caboose. Have a great week and happy grinding, y'all.